Joining us now is Jay Rosen. He's a professor of journalism at New York University and a longtime observer of this part of the media world. Mr. Rosen, I really appreciate you making time to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
First, let me just ask you to tear me apart and tell me if you think there's anything that I'm fundamentally wrong about or missing or getting the wrong way around about that take on the strength of the conservative media and its stars.
Nothing wrong, but there is something missing. Let me introduce you to verification in reverse, which I think is a factor in this history that you're recounting for us. Verification is taking something that might be true and trying to nail it down with facts, evidence, expertise. Verification in reverse is when you take something that's already been nailed down and you introduce doubt about it. And that releases a lot of energy, causes commotion, leads to controversy, leads to culture war. And with this energy, you can power your political movement, MAGA. Because MAGA works this way, the Republican Party looks less and less like a normal, traditional political party. Because MAGA works this way, the conservative movement needs its own media system. And this, I think, is a sort of hidden factor in history that you're recounting for us, because it leads to absurdities like the debt limit battle, which are the crazy sorts of policies that are being suggested as you listed for us. And this is also where Fox News fits in, because Fox isn't really a news network because it doesn't believe in verification. And so I would add that as a factor, not a cause, but a factor in the analysis you gave us, which was otherwise right on the mark.
If, as you say, reverse verification releases a lot of energy, you tell people this thing you thought was settled, this thing you knew was true, we're going to tell you it's not true, it's not settled, we're going to blow that up. You said that releases a lot of energy. Is that process being interrupted by things like these sort of accountability moments like the Dominion lawsuit and like some of the other things that seem to be driving some of the internal crises in the biggest parts of the conservative media world?
That's why that case was so important, the Dominion case. But overall, the conservative media world is built around the success of verification in reverse. That's how Trump became a leading political figure with the missing birth certificate case. That's what Stop the Steal was all about. It's taking something that's been established as true, denying it, and the power of that denial moves your movement closer. And that movement now is taking over the Republican Party, which is why the Democratic Party and the Republican Party no longer resemble each other. That's why we have such an asymmetry in our politics, which screws around with a lot of other values and norms and practices that no longer make sense because the two parties operate in such a different way. Also, I would add one other thing, Rachel, which is underneath that history that you gave us, there was the rise of the American consensus, as historians call it, the post-war consensus, where the two parties roughly worked in the same way, and they had different values. They wanted to take the country in different directions, but they kind of agreed on basic facts. That world is completely gone now, and conservatives, so-called, exist in their own information sphere, which not only is separate from the mainstream media, but needs to constantly attack the mainstream media and its picture of the real in order to create that power and momentum that I talked about.
I feel like what you're describing, though, is a system that's kind of zooming towards entropy. And I'm not sure the only part of it that I feel like I can't discern from the way you're describing it is where it ends. I mean, does that just continue to mushroom out, or is there some limiting factor that causes a crash? I mean, I'm asking in really practical terms whether conservative media continues to be as rich as it is and as effective as it is, even with these dynamics that you're describing sort of accelerating right through today's news and right through this very extreme period on the right.
I'm going to give you my best professional Answer, I don't know.
A humble man and
I don't know where it's going either. What you're saying is, it seems like this couldn't go on and on and on, but it does. And it's given us Trump once, and it may again. And I don't think anyone knows where it's going. It's heading for a crash, or, as you say, it'll just continue.